This video is a summary of a paper I have written and uploaded on ResearchGate titled A Cautious Declination of the Managing Director Position at the Global Institute of Sustainable and Holistic Development. I have included the link in the video description below. Welcome. My name is Sebastian Mateo, the former leader of Lameria until last year and currently the renowned author of the paper Advice to the Young People, to the Parents and to the Governments. As you are all aware, I was appointed last month to a 7-year term as the new Managing Director of the Global Institute of Sustainable and Holistic Development, following 30 years of service and leadership in Lameria. However, I am respectively declining this esteemed position. This decision arises from an inexplicable feeling, a deep intuition manifested through meditation, dreams, and nightmares that I have already fulfilled my purpose on earth and am being called to a new realm of glory. In a moment, I will briefly describe one of the terrifying visions I experienced on Friday night last week, my fifth in the past year. Having reflected on my life, as well as the lives of the current and future generations, I have chosen to write this letter to the incoming Managing Director through the Institute's President. My aim is to use both current and historical data as evidence to highlight critical areas that require our immediate attention at both global and regional levels. I will propose solutions and ideas to foster a more sustainable, prosperous, united, and joyful world, and I will share my vision for the future. Prologue. I am supposedly taken to the center of the universe. Above, below, and all around, the entire space is awash with bright, blinding light. I observe in amazement the complex network of billions of gigantic stars, galaxies, and planets spinning, twinkling like disco lights, twirling, expanding, and exploding. I even get to see and travel to the black hole. It feels like a highly exaggerated magical video entirely out of this world. In the vast expanse of space, I see a mesmerizing display of golden hieroglyphic alphabets animating and radiating a great deal of light and energy. A profound sense of humility and wonder fills me, and I ponder, how did all begin? Where is it headed? Humbled in the presence of such greatness, I hold deep reverence for God, the creator of the universe. At that moment, a young transparent facial image of my late father, who passed away 40 years ago, appears out of nowhere and is suspended in space. He is beaming with happiness and I can see through him. Confused and terrified, I listen as he assures me that he has never died. Still joyful, he welcomes me to my new permanent home, where he says he has been longing for me to arrive. I see a black hole and suddenly we are there. He explains that everything in this realm is metaphysical. There is no concept of time and space. He tells me that they exist here as spirits and they travel at a speed of thought. If you imagine being somewhere, whether in the Milky Way, at the moment of the universe creation, or 1 billion Earth years into the future, you find yourself there instantly. It feels strange, but he assures me I will get used to it. He promises to take me through the black hole to the time when the Earth was being created, and even 1 billion Earth years into the future. As we move backwards, he assures me I will see everything that has ever existed since the universe was made, and as we travel forward, I will witness all that will exist in the future. Moreover, he tells me that the universe is so vast that despite traveling at the speed of thought, one will never explore all of it, even while existing for eternity in this spiritual form. He explains that they spend their time exploring the cosmos and glorifying God, the creator of all. As soon as he finishes, we find ourselves inside the black hole. I explain in awe as the unimaginable beauty and wonder unfolding before me. At that moment, my wife wakes me up. My body is drenched in sweat and it is 1 a.m. I walk outside for some fresh air. More wonder awaits me. I see 2 brilliant galaxies, adorned with countless shimmering stars, gracefully intersecting against the backdrop of a moonless, velvety darkness. Millions of stars twinkle like scattered diamonds across the vast sky. The 2 galaxies, stretching from east to west and from north to south, form a cosmic axis. The first meaning I garner from this symbolism is that I am nearing the finality of my physical temporal life and preparing to transition to an existence of permanent spiritual life. I move toward the nearby Lasaiba tree in my compound, often referred to as the tree of life, and begin contemplating the life I have lived, as well as the lives of the current and future generations. I realized that the world I had imagined growing up is very different from the one I found. As a child, I envisioned a world filled with truth, love, peace, compassion, unity, hope, optimism, innocence, joy, adventure, discovery, creativity, and imagination. However, as I grew older, I encountered a world in great disarray, far removed from my youthful expectations. Instead, it was plagued by lies, greed, oppression, selfishness, materialism, hatred, jealousy, tribalism, geographical borders, wars, hypocrisy, betrayal, wealth and income inequality, fear, mistrust, disillusionment, cynicism, injustice, conflict, division, and countless other forms of decay. I came to the clear realization that the state of the world was not in harmony with what God, the Creator, would have intended. I found myself repeatedly asking, what could be done to create a small heaven on earth, a life that is enjoyable and fulfilling for everyone during our brief time here? How can we live with minimal struggle? I wondered what could be done to make the world a better place by eliminating all the weak and false foundations that had devastated it. Who would take on the challenging task of cleaning up this mess, and what motivation would drive them? The overwhelming challenges seemed to outweigh any sense of hope or optimism, leaving me feeling powerless in the face of such adversity. I then realized it was everyone's duty to contribute to making the world a better place for one another, and that true love was the answer to all the problems facing humanity. I felt a deep urge to act, determined not to leave the world as I had found it. I was driven to strive for the world I had envisioned growing up, a small heaven on earth. What was happening in the world was politics, not leadership. Furthermore, I came to hate politics and leadership as I found them in reality, riddled with evils, wickedness, deceit, hypocrisy, and lies. I felt the responsibility of changing the world for the better was a duty for others, not me. I was not ready to bear the burden. Yet, another voice assured me that each one of us has and still has a specific role to play in transforming this world before we die. It cannot simply be left to others. In any case, it eventually happened that I became the leader of my country, though not through politics. To me, it was both a feared and longed for opportunity, an opportunity to create the world I had imagined as a child. And sure enough, 40 years later, I have actualized that dream. Having retired from leadership at the age of 69 last year, I was appointed Managing Director of the Global Institute of Sustainable and Holistic Development last month. Based on my past achievements, people around the world have celebrated the potential for worldwide transformation under my leadership. However, I feel compelled to decline the position and instead use my remaining time to set everything in order. For the past year, I have experienced frightening dreams and unsettling feelings, accompanied by an intuition that my time on this earth is limited and that I should be preparing for a departure. I deeply regret that had I taken the position, I would have aggressively spearheaded the initiatives I described below on a global scale, making life more enjoyable and fulfilling for everyone, just as I have done for my country, Lameria. However, since I am unable to lead these initiatives myself, I will do everything in my power to see them realized. I will write a letter to the incoming managing director through the institute's president outlining critical issues that need immediate attention, offer their solution, share my vision for the future, and provide leadership insights based on my 30 years of experience leading Lameria. I enter the house, grab my laptop and return to the Saiba tree and begin writing the letter. I begin by expressing my gratitude for being appointed to head the organization. I then commend the progress the world has achieved in the last 4 decades, spearheaded by the organization. This includes reducing global poverty, lowering child mortality, increasing life expectancy, raising global electricity coverage, improving household incomes, and raising the standards of living in general, among others. However, I show that despite this progress, there are very many challenges that face the world and require immediate attention. For each challenge, I will show why the issue is a concern and use facts and statistics to strengthen the arguments. I further use graphical representations to show the trends, suggest solutions, and give my visions regarding each challenge. In this video, I will just show the trends in each problem and share the vision for each. For the complete information, please read the paper. Number 1. Declining trust. Trust has been dramatically declining in the world. The share of people who trust one another is only 25%. The share of individuals who trust the government in USA is only 19%, and the proportion of people who trust big businesses in a great deal or quite a lot in the same country is 16%. I envision a time when all barriers to trust will be eliminated and trust will be universally high. In this future, the world will be filled with love and mercy, equality of opportunity and resources will be widespread, and virtues will far exceed the vices. Number 2. High income inequality. Income inequality is another challenge facing the world today. As of 2022, a mere 1.1% of adults held a disproportionate 45.8% of global wealth, while a staggering 52.5% is held only by 1.2% of the people. Only 1.1% of the global population had wealth valued over $1 million, while 52.5% of individuals possessed wealth of less than USD 10,000. Although income inequality is falling in many regions, it still remains very high, where the Gini index is above 50 and is rising in South Asia and North America. Productivity growth in USA far outpaces growth in wages, despite the two growing together before the 1980s. My vision for the future is a world where all inequalities of opportunities and resources are completely eradicated. In this world, everyone will have equal access to opportunities and resources, and those who achieve better outcomes will be guided by a deep sense of mercy, kindness, and solidarity. Suffering and oppression will be long gone. Deceit and unethical means of wealth accumulation will be eliminated, and the general welfare will be prioritized over profit maximization. People will regard each other as brothers and sisters regardless of their location, extending a helping hand to uplift others whenever possible. The world will be united and filled with compassion and mercy. No one will watch another suffer. All social and economic inequalities will be eliminated, ensuring that success is shared and no one is left behind. Number 3. Declining trends in global growth and productivity. Despite the critical role of GDP growth in poverty alleviation, global GDP and productivity growth have been on a downward trajectory over the past 2 decades. This trend is illustrated in Figure 3, which shows that all 3 metrics have been declining since 2008. Plot 4 indicates that as GDP per capita in low-income countries ceased to rise in 2010, poverty reduction also came to a halt in 2014. Additionally, Plot 4 reveals very low employee engagement rates, which pose serious threats to a global productivity. Finally, Figure 5 highlights rising interest rates, presenting a challenge to countries' debt sustainability, especially given the low growth rates of GDP and productivity in the context of increasing debts, as we will explore in the section of rising debts. I envision a future where ongoing innovations and technological breakthroughs such as AI and automation will drive higher economic growth through increased productivity, with the benefits of this growth equitably shared. All barriers to innovation and technological advancements will be eliminated, and there will be no patenting. Our collective efforts will focus on enhancing the general welfare or well-being of all the citizens, rather than solely pursuing profit maximization and economic growth. Number 4. Alarming demographic shifts. Another pressing issue the world faces is changing demographics as illustrated in Figure 4. This challenge is evident in the rising share of aging population, Plot 1, falling birth rates, Plot 2, 3, and 4, declining marriages, Plot 5, and the increase in the share of births outside marriage, Plot 6. Plot 7 reveals that countries with the highest GDP per capita also tend to have the highest cost of living index, which consequently correlates with the lowest birth rates. I foresee a future where high productivity, driven by significant technological improvements and innovations, allows marriages and the desire to have as many children as one wishes to be regarded as fundamental needs, free from the cost of living barriers or any other impediments. In this future, anyone ready to marry or start a family will do so without fearing an unstable future. People will have the freedom to have as many children as they desire, without concerns about their children's future hardships or the challenges of raising them. Furthermore, misconceptions about population growth will be dispelled, and larger populations will be globally recognized and encouraged as beneficial. Number 5. Climate change. The global temperature is currently 1 degree Celsius hotter than it was during the pre-industrial period and is forecasted to rise by 2.5 to 3.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century under realistic conditions. Today, the effects of climate change are being felt worldwide, with the number of weather-related calamities rising by almost 2.5 times between the 1980s and the 2010s, from 1288 to 3146. The largest increases were recorded in floods and storms. Consequently, the Financial Stability Board 2020 estimated that global economic losses from weather-related catastrophes rose in the same period by 7.6 times, from USD 214 billion to USD 1.62 trillion measured in 2019 prices. My vision for the future is one where global temperatures do not rise by more than 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, thereby averting potentially disastrous consequences. I envision a world where nations collaborate earnestly to combat climate change, transitioning completely away from fossil fuels and significantly increasing the share of green and renewable energy sources such as solar and hydroelectric power. Number 6. Food insecurity. Despite the Sustainable Development Goal number 2 seeking to eliminate hunger by 2030, the world continues to face severe food insecurity, with households spending a significant share of their incomes on food, 25% in emerging markets and 40% in sub-Saharan Africa. As illustrated in Figure 6, food insecurity has been on the rise since 1990, and with the exception of high-income countries, the share of individuals facing moderate or severe food insecurity and severe food insecurity has been on the rise. Similarly, the prevalence of food insecurity has been rising in low and lower middle income countries. I envision a future where no one goes to bed hungry, where everyone has free and abundant access to nutritious food, and where individuals can trust that what they consume is of high quality and poses no future health risks. In this future, everyone will own a piece of land to grow their crops if they choose to, empowering people to be self-sufficient in food production and reducing or eliminating reliance on profit-driven commercial food systems. The focus on business and profit maximization in the food industry, including food processing, will be absent. Instead, most people will grow and consume their own natural food, leading to the eradication of food-related diseases, particularly cancers, kidney diseases, and heart diseases. Hunger and malnutrition will be eradicated as everyone will have the means and resources to grow or access healthy, uncontaminated food. Mechanisms will be implemented to minimize or eliminate food spoilage and damage, and proper distribution channels will be established to ensure that no one in need goes without. Number 7. Rising cost of living. The other challenge facing the world today is high cost of living. In many countries, the inflation of essential items like healthcare, education, energy, fuels, utilities, housing, and others have outpaced wage growth. This is illustrated in Figure 7. I envision a time when humanity has created a small heaven on earth, a time when the phrase cost of living becomes a relic to the past. In this era, essential goods and services such as healthcare, education, and housing, currently among the most expensive, will instead be readily accessible and affordable, if not free. Scarcity, especially of basic needs, will be a thing of the past as abundance is achieved through human inequity and the free sharing of technologies and innovations and knowledge. Growth and development will no longer come at the expense of high cost of living, thanks to the cost-saving technologies and innovations that will be in place. The quality of life will be high for everyone, allowing people to truly enjoy their time in this world. Number 8. Deteriorating governance and democracy. Deteriorating governance and democracy is another issue of concern. The share of non-free countries has been rising, while that of free countries has declined. The political violence and demonstration events have risen by over 70 times between 1996 and 2023. I dream of a future where leadership and power are decentralized to the people, characterized by intense citizen engagement and participation in governance. In this future, the world will be led by compassionate leaders who prioritize the well-being of both current and future generations over personal gain. Governments will be both liberating and effective, and the concept of politics and money will have faded away. Leadership will be defined by a commitment to serving the people and improving their general welfare, embodied not by politicians but by godly and virtuous leaders. The world will have developed in all aspects, and hatred, greed, and all other causes of conflicts will be eliminated. Number 9. Increasing debt. Over the past 2 decades, debt levels have risen at an unprecedented rate. For example, the general government gross debt as a share of income or GDP in advanced economies increased by 41 percentage points between 2001 and 2024. That is, from 70% of GDP to an 11% of GDP. While in emerging economies, it rose by 21 percentage points, that is, from 48% of GDP to 69% of GDP in the same period, that is, between 2001 to 2024. The growth of these debts have by far outpaced the growth of investments and income. I foresee a time when countries' growth models are no longer heavily reliant on debt, but instead on available local and international resources. Compassion will be so widespread that, rather than burdening the developing nations with debt to spur growth, they will receive aid and grants to support their development. Greed will have vanished, eliminating the misappropriation of public and private resources. At that time, odious debts will be a relic of the past, and most countries will be self-reliant, no longer dependent on debt for growth and development. Any necessary borrowing will be reserved for capital investment projects, with every dollar meticulously accounted for, ensuring all debts are utilized effectively and efficiently. Number 10. Slowing pace of poverty reduction. Over the past 40 years, although the world has made impressive efforts towards poverty reduction, the pace of reduction has declined, particularly in low and lower middle income countries in Africa. I aspire to a future where poverty will be completely eradicated from Earth, and it will be a relic of the past. At that time, nobody will live in deplorable conditions in slums, but instead, everyone will have a safe, secure home with dignity. They will have access to quality and nutritious food. Comprehensive and quality education and healthcare will be available for all regardless of their background. Economic opportunities will be available to all without any decimation whatever. Strong social safety nets will be available for all vulnerable individuals, and the whole world will be filled with love, compassion, and unity. Individuals and governments will work together, share their resources and technology to eradicate all forms of poverty and suffering. Number 11. Insufficient human capital accumulation. Human capital is the most critical driver of economic growth and development, especially for countries with limited natural resources. Indeed, SDG 3 emphasizes good health and well-being, while SDG 4 seeks to achieve quality education. Although the world has made significant progress in educational outcomes, particularly in the transition rates from primary to secondary education and from secondary to tertiary education, challenges remain. This is illustrated in plots 1 and 2. Plot 3 show that students' school fees and debt have risen at a faster rate than their median incomes. Plot 4 shows great progress in UHC coverage, but it still remains low in low and lower middle income countries. As of 2021, 4.5 billion people As of 2021, 4.5 billion of the world's 7.9 billion people were not covered by UHC, implying that 56.96% of the population still relies on out-of-pocket health expenditures to meet their healthcare needs. Low and lower middle income countries also face serious shortages of health workers, as illustrated in plot 5. The final plot reveals that cardiovascular diseases and cancers have had the highest positive changes in disease burden between 1990 and 2019. There are two issues about education that I discuss here in details, and they call for complete restructuring of education as we know it today. First, education is no longer raising countries' labor productivity and total factor productivity. Second, there exists a disconnect between education and financial education. I believe in a future where human capital will be highly developed across all countries. Individuals will be free to pursue their passions and fully exploit their talents. There will be real-time monitoring of labor market dynamics, and scarcities of key personnel or professionals like doctors will be eliminated. In this future, high-quality education and healthcare will significantly boost global productivity, raising standards of living and minimizing suffering. Number 12. Refugee crisis. The number of refugees have been rising continually from 2011 to 2023, from 1.47 per 1,000 people to 3.48. Sub-Saharan Africa serves as both a major source and destination for these refugees. I imagine a world without refugees, where socio-economic and political factors that lead to their displacement have been eliminated. The entire world will be highly developed, and there will be no concept of country groupings like low and high income countries. The world will be united as one global country called the United States of the world. The movement of refugees will be a thing of the past. Instead, there will be free movement of people, allowing them to work and live wherever they choose. Number 13. Unsustainable urbanization. The other challenge facing the world today is unsustainable urbanization. As of 2022, the urban population share stood at 57% and is projected to rise to 68% by 2050. I envision a time where equitable development will prevail, creating equal opportunities for all, and the concept of rural-urban migration will no longer exist. Similarly, the challenges associated with urbanization will be eradicated, allowing cities to regain their glory as engines of prosperity, with all forms of suffering eliminated. Number 14. Slowing global trade. Between 1990 and 2008, total global trade as a share of income rose from 38% to 61%. Since then, the share has been no more than 63% of GDP. The net FDI inflows have also reduced, and the harmful trade policies have been on the rise, and the account has exceeded the liberalizing ones by far. I envision a future where the world will be fully integrated through trade. Protectionism, trade wars, geopolitical tensions, and other trade restrictions will be relics of the past, replaced by a unified global community. In this future, the notion of our country will give way to our world. Selfishness will be eradicated, and the benefits of global trade will be widely realized and equitably shared across this single, cohesive community. The abolishment of patent and free flow of technologies and knowledge will allow many nations to produce goods and services near the people, reducing the need for international trade. Number 15. Wide digital divide. The world is increasingly adopting digital technologies, primarily driven by improvements in information and communication technologies, that is, ICT. The most notable of all is the rise in the global uptake of Internet from 0.05% in 1990 to 63% in 2021. Nevertheless, a significant gap in the adoption remains. As of 2021, 37% of the global population, equivalent to 2.9 billion people, were still unconnected to the Internet, with most of them residing in developing countries. The high cost of Internet access remains one of the major barriers to widespread adoption. For example, in 2021, the average cost of 1 GB of mobile internet data as a share of gross national income per capita was 8.66% and 3.69% in low and lower middle income countries, respectively, compared to 2.22% and 0.68% in upper middle income and high income countries, respectively. Other indicators of the digital divide, such as the share of individuals who own a debit card or who have made or received a digital payment, also reveal significant disparities despite growth across all income groups. I dream of a future where the current digital divide is eliminated and the benefits of digital era are widely shared. Digital technologies will play a crucial role in boosting global productivity, spreading knowledge and information across the world, lowering the cost of living, and leading to improved standards of living for everyone. Number 16. Global peace and cooperation. Although the role of global peace and cooperation has been recognized by the UN as pivotal in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the Global Peace Index has worsened in many regions since 2012. The global arms imports have been rising since 2000. The average military expenditure in high-income countries and worldwide remains above the 2% UN threshold agreed upon in 2006, and military expenditures measured in CPRI trade values have increased in many regions. I anticipate a time when wars, conflicts, and their causes are eradicated, a time when good will supersede evil, and the entire world is united under a single entity, the United States of the world. With a universal visa system, people will be free to work and live wherever they choose. This unity will facilitate the free flow of ideas, people, trade, technology, and resources such as finance and capital. The arms race will become a thing of the past, replaced by a global pursuit of happiness and peace. Resources previously allocated to weapons will be redirected to foster global development, ensuring prosperity in every corner of the world. All the vices, ideologies, and that divide us, for example, religion, economic inequalities, ethnic and racial tensions, nationalism and populism, terrorism and extremism, geopolitics, political polarization, among others, will be long gone. Global peace, love and unity will prevail, and the concept of wars and conflict will be relegated to history. Number 17. The current capitalistic system is dysfunctional and unstable and needs to be discarded in favor of better arrangements. The last section argues that although capitalism, the current economic system, has led to significant achievements over the past centuries, it faces several weaknesses that call for its removal. For instance, it is not inherently a system built on principles of mutual help or care or concern for biodiversity. It is driven by scarcity, self-interest, and profit motives, with the consequences being disastrous. Historically, it has relied on unethical means to fuel its expansion, such as colonialism, neocolonialism, labor exploitation, and environmental degradation, for example, deforestation, over-extraction of natural resources, and reliance on debt. These avenues are no longer viable for sustainable growth in the modern world, signaling the need for a system beyond capitalism. Additionally, I argue that the system has contributed to and is unable to handle the present day's challenges like slowing global GDP and productivity growth, stagnating wages, high cost of living, rising income inequality, and environmental pollution, climate change effects, rising political polarization and conflicts, altering of family life leading to falling marriages and fertility rates, worsening food insecurity leading to higher rates of diseases like diabetes, heart diseases, and cancers, rise of prioritization of money over value creation and purpose, and low job engagement rates, among others. Since it is challenging to maintain a healthy and balanced economy under capitalism, I recently proposed a system called Godrism, an advanced form of gift economy where people exchange goods and services for free. This system addresses several major flaws of capitalism by shifting the economic assumption from scarcity to abundance, eliminates oppression that happens in the search for money, eradicates the stress associated with working merely for money, even in jobs that one may dislike, conserves the environment, ensures sustainable development, and allows individuals to pursue fulfilling careers. It shifts the focus from earning money to delivering value by ensuring that everyone engages in activities that provide tangible benefits to the society, which will lead to peace, happiness, and fulfilling lives. I conclude by arguing that I remain deeply optimistic about the future. I envision a world where all nations unite to form one global community called the United States of the world, establishing a small heaven on earth. I foresee a collapse of the lies, vices, and weak foundations upon which the modern world has been built, to be replaced by an era rooted in truth, justice, fairness, virtue, and mercy. Goodness will overwhelmingly prevail, suffering and oppression will cease, and love and compassion will permeate every corner of the globe, leading to fulfilling lives for all. While I am unable to lead the organization, as explained earlier, I find solace in having shared my thoughts on the most pressing global issues, proposed solutions, and my vision for the future. I extend my best wishes to the incoming managing director as they take on these efforts with diligence and purpose. Thank you. The next project will be titled Building a Global Superstore Sales Dashboard, a comprehensive analysis. Until then, goodbye.